Madwa upon you are Jerusalem, stand face Jerusalem. Let's feast of dedication, rededication. And also, it's a Sabbath as well, right? Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
Bahasham,
Bahasham,
Yahushai,
Yahushua,
Asherah,
Asherah,
Lathananawa,
Lamanaw,
Ashabaf,
Ashabah,
Ashar Kanaka,
Ashakanaka,
Bashalawam,
Bashalom,
Tawada,
Tawad,
Amun.
Alman.
English translation. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, that gives to us the Sabbath in the feast of rededication and peace. Thank you, so be it. Psalm 121. Ka Kanaka, Ashar Ka Kanaka. Y'all can read the English. The Aliyah Ma'a Asheraya Makat. Psalm 121. Anya, Rayam, Yenimya, Harayam, Mayan, Yabua'a, Isaiah, Yabua'a, Mayahawa, Shaisha, Shemayim, Warataza, La'a, Yanathan, Lamawat, Wagalia, Yala'a, Yanawam, Joshua Marka, Na, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yishan, Joshua Mar, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shemaya, Yahweh, Dazalia, Ayel, Yad, Yenyim Yad, Yawamam, Ashamash, La'a, Chaya, Rayrak, La'a, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamoya, Makol, Rai, Yashamor, Napasha, Yahweh, Yashamor, Aulakia, Maitha, Wa'ai, I will Basham, Yahushua, the water, Amen.
Psalm 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore.
Amen. Shema Yasharala, hero Israel. Shema Yasharala, Yahweh, Allah Haynawa, Yahweh, Akkad, Shema Yasharala, Yahweh, Allah Haynawa, Yahweh, Akkad, Shema Yasharala, Yahweh, Allah Haynawa, Yahweh, Akkad.
Deuteronomy 6:4. Hero Israel. Deuteronomy 6:4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Amen.
Amen. Yahweh Tapala, Yahweh's prayer. Abiyanawa,
Abiyanawa,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Kodash,
Kodash,
Haya,
Haya,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Malakovka,
Malaka,
Taba'a,
Taba'a,
Batazawanka,
Tazawanka,
Haya,
Haya,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Ba'arataza,
Barataza,
Ka,
Ka,
Bashemayim,
Hashemayim,
Latananawa,
Adonai,
Lacham,
Lakam,
Yawam,
Yawam,
Za,
Za,
Wasalaknawa,
Salakna,
Ka Wafnawa,
Kabawakna,
Kasalaknawa,
Kasalakna,
Ka Wafyanawa,
Kabawakna,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Abiyanawa,
Abiyana,
Nasai 1,
Salomon,
Oh,
Oh,
Nasai 1,
Messiah 1,
Abo,
Abo,
Awashainawa,
Awashayim,
Murai,
Marai,
Kaya,
Ayah,
Laka,
Laka,
Amalakwa,
Amalaka,
Wa'ala,
Wa'al,
Watapawaf,
Wa'atapara,
Laiwulam,
Wa'ibalam,
Aman.
Aman.
Matthew 6:9. After this manner, therefore, pray, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Aman. Ashura Matazawaf, the Ten Commandments. La'a,
La'a,
Yahaya,
Yahai,
Laka,
Laka,
Alahayim,
Alahai,
Al-Qayyim,
Alkoi,
Al-Punya,
Ayah,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Laka,
Laka,
Oso,
Paso,
Wala'a,
Wala'a,
Taibudam,
Taibinam,
La'a,
La'a,
Talakwaka,
Talakwaka,
Shamwa,
Shaka, Aina,
La'a,
La'a,
Ta'aina,
Aina,
Shukur,
Shukor,
La'a,
La'akama,
Ko,
Ko,
Ashura,
Ashura,
La'aika,
La'aika,
Aman.
Aman.
Exodus 20:2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and holiday. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may belong upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Amen.
Aman. Inshallah, please be seated. Barakta Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ashura, Nantan Nawa, Pa Yagapan Tuara Aman, La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Af Yasha Allah. English translation. Bless our Yahweh in the name of Yahushai that gives to us the fruit of the vine. Thank you, so be it. To Yahweh in the name of Yahushai with Israel. I madwa upon you, Ayuashalom, sends face Jerusalem. Peter Hebrew only. Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
Agadol,
Agadol,
Rakaram,
Rakawan,
Abiyah,
Abiyah,
Manoah,
Manoah,
Aliwan,
Aliwan,
Malak,
Malak,
Shal,
Shal,
Shemayim,
Shemayim,
Baratazah,
Baratazah,
Wako,
Orko,
Abayim,
Abayim,
Kayam,
Kayam,
Wagam,
Wagam,
Amashiach,
Amashiach,
Mayahawa,
Mayahawa,
Alawanawa,
Awana,
Ahabnawa,
Ahabna,
Apala,
Apala,
Yahaitaza,
Yahaitza,
Yahushai,
Yahusha,
Zakarnawa,
Zakarna,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Batazawan,
Baratazwan,
Aimka,
Aika,
Yasha Allah,
Yasha'al,
Izornawa,
Aizona,
Wana,
Bana,
Wasap,
Wasap,
Yasha Allah,
Yasha'al,
O,
O,
Nanawa,
Nanau,
Yamyan,
Yamyan,
Aitha,
Aita,
Kaiwamiam,
Kaiwamiam,
Makudam,
Makadam,
Abukusha,
Babusha,
Shalak,
Shalak,
Micah Allah,
Micah,
Watazawadak,
Watazwadak,
Alahayim,
Alahayim,
La,
La,
Magannawa,
Magana,
Wapannawa,
Rapana,
Washimor,
Washimo,
Alnawa,
Alna,
Aikwar,
Baiwo,
Shalat,
Shalak,
Awoka,
Aroka,
Shal,
Shal,
Yahushai,
Yalasha,
Lanawa,
Lanau,
Alamadnawa,
Alamana,
Rabiam,
Rabbi,
Kakama,
Kakama,
Tawawana,
Tabawana,
Bada'aif,
Wadai,
Shal,
Shal,
the Barka,
Tawarka,
Bahasham,
Aisham,
Yahushai,
Yahusha,
the Water,
Tawada,
Tamyad,
Tamya,
Waiwulam,
Wabalam,
Aman.
Aman.
English translation. Blessed are you, Yahweh, the great, merciful, mighty, terrible, most high power, King of heaven and earth, in all things living, and also the anointed from Yahweh, our Lord, our friend, the wonderful counselor Yahushai. Remember us, Yahweh, favorably, your people Israel. Help us build and gather Israel. Most high, we beg you, right now, like the days of old. Please send Michael and the righteous powers to protect us, heal us, and watch over us. Mainly send the spirit of Yahushai to us to teach us much wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of thy word. In the name of Yahushai, thank you always and forever. So be it. Repeat the Hebrew only. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai that gives to us the law. Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
Ba'ashem Yahushai,
Ba'ashem Yahusha,
Asherah,
Asherah,
Natananawa,
Natanau,
Ataorat.
Atavra,
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai that gives us the light to see. Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
Ba'ashem Yahushai,
Ba'ashem Yahusha,
Asherah,
Asherah,
Natananawa,
Natanau,
Awar,
Awar,
Laorat.
Larawa,
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai that gives to us the Remzon to call the people. Barakatah Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh,
Ba'ashem Yahushai,
Ba'ashem Yahusha,
Asherah,
Asherah,
Natananawa,
Natanau,
Koran,
Koran,
Ha'ayah,
Ayom,
Lakorah,
Lakora,
Ha'aim.
A'ain.
Yeshua, please be seated. Okay. Shalom, Yashrala. Welcome to Ayashrala Kanas. My name is Kahan Pukwat. Welcome to the Feast of Rededication, in Hebrew known as Hanukkah. Today is a great day, a great feast. It's a Sabbath, and we're gonna go over what the Feast of Rededication is all about. We're gonna go over the scriptures. We're gonna read about the events that brought about the day that we are celebrating, this joyous occasion. The children of Israel, those scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, that we read in the book of Deuteronomy, they are the real Jews that the Bible speaks of. Proof in case, when we read Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, we are the only people who came to the Americas into slavery via slave ships. And everything that we are experiencing in today's time is found in the scriptures. If there's any doubt, we can go to the scriptures and verify for ourselves and see and recollect our memory to find out who came here on cargo slave ships. We're gonna go over once again the scriptures or the story that brought about the Feast of Rededication. And that feast, we're gonna read it in the Apocrypha, which is part of the 1611 King James Bible. And we're gonna read in the book of Maccabees, First Maccabees, chapter 1 to chapter 4. That's where we're gonna find out. We're gonna read the story. So, if I were to ask anyone, so let me start with the youngin, and I'm gonna ask Nathan, do you know what Hanukkah is about? Okay, all right. So you're gonna find out what Hanukkah is about. Do you know what Christmas is about? Yeah.
You know,
You know what Christmas is about? What is Christmas about? About Jesus Christ's birth, right? That's a lot. Okay, that's a lot. If somebody were to ask you what is Christmas is about, depending on where you are, you may choose to answer. But if you want to answer, you can say this is a false history of Christ's birthday. Okay, it is not true when you read the Bible. Okay, and you know that Christ is, what color is Christ? Black. Okay. Good. Okay. So you see the picture that they show you. They show you what picture? Picture you see out there of Jesus Christ. What do you see? They don't show a picture. In church, you don't see a picture. They said this is Christ. No. Okay. All right. Good. So at least we start somewhere. So today is the feast of rededication. Okay. So we're gonna try to explain it. Maybe we may read the whole chapter, but we want everyone to get a clear understanding that's gonna resonate for years to come. If it's the first time you come to acquainted with the, or you come to the feast of rededication. Okay. So we're gonna make it very basic and make it, you know, in a way where just as Christmas is known, rededication should be known even more to the children of Israel, more so to us sitting here today in this congregation, and those listening and those watching on the live stream, wherever you may be. Okay. So what is rededication? So let's take a look at the word rededication. What does that mean?
Do again.
To do again. Okay. Anybody else? Rededication. What is that?
Dedicate means to put yourself into it.
Mm-hmm.
Rededicate means to keep doing what you've been doing.
Nate, what rededication means? You don't know? Okay. We're going to tell you what rededication means. Okay. It's okay to not know it. Okay. So you can know. Put that. Rededication.
We start over again.
To start over again?
So, yeah.
Let's say if you say you want to rededicate yourself, or you want to dedicate to do something, what does it mean when you dedicate yourself to do something?
Put yourself out there.
Exactly. You put yourself out there to learn something, right? Right? You want to take the due diligence, right? You want to do the due diligence, or you want to take the steps, right, to learn whatever you got to learn.
Right.
Okay. But when you put the word "re" in front of it, it means that you will already dedicate yourself. At some point in time, you become undedicated, right? You become undedicated, so now you're gonna rededicate yourself again to what you dedicate yourself to before, right? So that's what "re," when you put "re" in front of it, like the brother said, Zakar said, we do it again.
Okay.
Okay. So rededication, what? What are we rededicating today? And what are we rededicating? And what was the brothers back then, our ancestors, what were they rededicating?
A feast of the week of the first fruit of the harvest.
Okay, that's a nice try. But that, what are we rededicating? Come on, just say, get alive. You see that feast right here? That's better than Christmas.
Right.
You know, Christmas is supposed to be a joyous occasion, a gift given.
Right.
If we were in our, I mean, not even in our kingdom, even in our state that we're in right now, I bet you if we were in the world, we would be giving out gifts, no matter what state we're in.
Okay.
No matter what condition our life is in, we will be giving out gifts.
Right.
It's, you know, this feast is all about that also as well.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
And what's better is that it's a feast that is for a whole week.
Okay.
instead of just couple days or
Mhm.
one day. It's for the whole week. So which means if you want to give gifts, you can still give gifts, not just one day. You
Okay.
can, you have the whole week
Yes, yes.
to give gifts. So imagine if that feast was being kept in Israel the way it's supposed to be kept, it would be a joyous occasion for a week. We would have people invite other brothers over to eat.
Right.
You know, for the whole week, you can go to this brother can come over, right? It's a feast that it's a joyous occasion. It's a joyous season. It's the season to be jolly.
Right.
Okay,
It's the season.
right? It's the season to be happy. Okay,
Right.
so
It's an gathering at the end of the year.
okay, that's a nice try again.
Read that Bible.
We to not draw, you know, going to Anabia. Yeah, go on.
Altar of burnt offering.
The altar of burnt offering.
Where you see all that?
You know.
And where was it? Where was the altar of burnt offering? Where was the altar of burnt offering? Inside the temple. We dedicating the altar of burnt offering in the temple. In the temple.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if we rededicate the second temple, so that means we had the first temple, right? Then we're gonna rededicate the altar of burnt offering in the second temple,
Right.
because the first one got destroyed.
Right.
Then we have the second one. We're gonna rededicate to the Most High.
You do it over.
We're gonna no the second temple. The first temple, we have a first temple.
Right.
That first temple, we dedicate that temple to the Most High, right? At one point. Then that temple got destroyed.
Okay.
Then the temple got rebuilt again.
Right.
Then that's the second temple we're gonna rededicate
The Most High.
to the Most High again, because we dedicate the first one,
Mm-hmm.
dedicate the first one, first temple, and who built the first temple? Under whose rulership?
Oh,
Moses. Moses. Aaron. Sons.
Now Moses start to implement, you know, having the service being done in the wilderness,
Okay.
but we did not have a place. Okay, then we had the first temple, right? Mm-hmm. The first temple. Who built the first temple? King Solomon built the first temple. King Solomon built the first temple. See, I'm going through this basic so that you never forget it again.
Okay.
The first temple was dedicated, built by Solomon to the Most High,
Right.
and then it got destroyed.
Okay.
Destroyed by who?
Rome.
Okay. Okay. Zakar?
by the Romans.
Nope. He said Romans. The first temple, make sure we write this down and make sure we write this down. The first temple was destroyed by the Babylonians.
Okay, by the
Babylonian.
Right. They came and conquered us, and they destroyed the first temple and stole everything that was in it.
Babylonian.
Okay, so that was the first temple that was dedicated. See, this one was dedicated. He doesn't have re in front of it because that was the first one that was dedicated. Then we're gonna rededicate the second one.
Right.
Okay, because we dedicate the first one already. Now that's hence come rededication. That's where the word rededication comes from. So now, what process did we go through to get that second temple we established and rededicated? That's where the event come in.
A lot of wars.
Right. So we're gonna read about the event that bring about the rededication. Okay, after the first one was destroyed by the Babylonian and we got taken into captivity. Okay, we got taken into captivity. Okay, so that's how we have the Feast of Dedication. Nabia, Nabiya.
Talking about the temple or the.
The altar. The altar. Both. Both. Because you know the altar is inside of the temple. So that's where, you know, the priest stand and then do the service and do the sacrifice, offering and things like that. Okay. All right. And you can read about the temple of Solomon in Deuteronomy. One second. Pull my notes real fast. All right, you can read that in Deuteronomy chapter 12, 2 and 27. So now the Most High give us instruction. What?
27?
Chapter 12, 2 to 27.
Okay.
So the Most High give us instruction for the purpose of the altar of burnt offering. Okay, when we in the temple, how we were to conduct the service to the Most High. That's where we got the instructions. Okay, so now so you know when you got taken into captivity, or you got taken over by a nation, right? That nation has their way of life, right? They have their way of life, the way they worship their gods, the way they eat, right? Their whole culture.
Right.
So when we were taken by these people,
Yeah, follow the
we were forced some of them allow us to keep our custom, right? And some of them did not want us to keep our custom.
Right.
Because, for example, you have King Antiochus. He did not want us to keep our custom, right? Not in his kingdom was, you know, go from hand to hand. Some of them allow us, and some of them did not allow us. Okay.
The Babylonians didn't allow it.
The Babylonian did not. They allow us to a certain degree, and then after the father died, the son takes over. He repeal whatever the father did and say, you know, that's not gonna happen. Yeah, I ain't gonna follow. I am my father, pretty much. I am my father, so you're gonna do like I said. And it's easier to have a kingdom where everybody is on one accord, follow the same religion, right? You don't want to have one group of people follow another religion, right? And if you want to condense your power, you want everybody to do as you do, right? So as we were taken into captivity, we're gonna start reading in the Maccabees. Okay. So we pretty much have a somewhat good idea about Hanukkah now, right? Rededication. That's what the word means. Rededicate. Wait, Hanukkah.
Okay.
Right? It means rededication. And we know what we rededicating now, because earlier we didn't know. But that, you know what rededication means? I mean, what Hanukkah is right now, right? Hanukkah. You know what it is now?
dedication.
Rededication. Rededication of what? Rededication of what?
Dedication of
the altar of burnt offering in the temple.
So put the word altar up there. Altar, offering of the burnt offering.
Right. Or you can say the temple, because in the temple, rededication of the temple, because inside the temple, we knew what took place in the temple.
okay.
Okay.
So how would you say that again?
Rededication of the temple
Rededication
Okay.
to make it simpler.
of the temple. Fine.
Rededication of the temple.
That's good.
All right.
Okay.
Because inside the temple, you have the altar. That's where we do our burnt offering.
We do our burnt offering.
Right? If we if we doing things in all righteousness, if we say rededication of the temple, we already know what we do in the temple.
Right.
Right? In all righteousness.
Burnt offering.
Okay. And sacrifice the burnt offering to the Most High. Okay.
Yeah, exactly what you're bringing out, because he mentioned going back to Moses and Aaron's time. That was just the tent. It was before the temple, right? We had the tent that we were taking around in the wilderness. And the altar burnt offering was where, that's the furthest point that people could go. That's where Aaron and his sons, they began. So Aaron and his sons, they were there on the other side of the altar burnt offering. Everything that took place in the holy place and always the holy, where they could do it, as they were acting for the Most High.
Okay.
We were on the other side, like kind of bringing our offerings. You know?
Okay.
So that altar burnt offering was kind of like a separate point. But Aaron and his sons did their work on one side, we the people came from the other side.
In the middle side. Yeah.
Done. So as we have today, we hear they talking about one world order, right?
Mhm.
One world order.
They talking about that.
Right. They talking about one world order. That one world order was always talked about with any other nation that ruled.
Mhm.
Right? So Antiochus and his dynasties, they also wanted that one world order
Right.
where everybody followed the same thing.
Mhm. Hitler.
Right? Everybody would follow the same God, follow the same doctrine, follow the same culture. Okay? And they struggle with that. Every empire struggle with that.
Mhm. Fail.
Right? Because you have a group of people who will not follow your custom. They have their own custom. And some people will follow. Some people would say, no, I'm not going to do it. And some people were ready to die, right? To not want to follow other gods.
Right.
And that's pretty much what happened with our people, right? Under those people, under those empires. So let's read. We may not get to read everything tonight, but let's get the gist of it.
Maccabees?
Done. First Maccabees is the first chapter.
Okay.
And it happened after that, Alexander came out of the land of Chetam, had smitten Darius, king of Persia. So now we had the Greeks started to come to power, right? So they, in order to come to power, you have to beat another king,
Right.
or you have to beat another system. You beat that system, then you come up with your own system, right? There was the birth of systems. Okay, at that time we did not have democracy, right? It was more so kingdom taking over kingdom and establishing their ideologies back then. So the Greek ideologies, right,
Right.
started with Alexander, right?
And
It
then-
says, and it happened after that, Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chetam, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. All right, so now he's in power. Okay, Alexander is in power right now, and made many wars. So kingdom against kingdom. Yahushua talks about that in the book of Matthew, right? He says, when the disciple asked him, when shall be, the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And he starts telling him, so kingdom shall rise against kingdoms, right? So that's pretty much what we're seeing right here. That was that prophecy taking place, and it's still taking place right now. Okay?
But now we're in the last kingdom that's ruling right now. When that kingdom fall, then Israel will be next.
We got next. That's Barack and Scripture.
Done. So in verse 2, it says, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. So he went and made war with many kings. Verse 3. And went through to the ends of the earth and took spoil of many nations. And so much that the earth was quiet before him. Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. And he guarded a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries and nations and kings who came tributaries unto him. All right, so do you understand what's happening right now? Or do you want more clarity?
No, well, it speaks for itself when he took a strong hold and ruled over countries. That's explains it all, and nations.
Gone, okay?
And he took over everything.
Okay, good. Move on. Verse 6. Wherefore he called his servants such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So now, why would he do such thing?
Well, as all people are, men have activities, and this has to be one of his activities of taking over everything.
Right, so he took over everything, but now he's getting into his end of days. So now he wants to still have his power consolidated. So who to give, your kingdom to, but your friends that you grew up with, your friends that you grew up with, right? That have merits, or some of them don't even have merits, but more often than not, we grow up together. We share the same ideologies, right? We share the same doctrine. We think the same way, right? So now he parted his kingdom, meaning he divided his kingdom into his friend before his days, right? So they can continue, right, reign over those countries or those people that he conquered. Okay. So whereupon he called his servants such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. Verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. So he reigned 12 years and then died. So that's how, before he died, he made sure that he parted his kingdom, give this guy to rule over this section right here, rule over those countries right here. So pretty much inheritance, right? Inherit those countries that he conquered. Okay. So move on. Verse 8. And his servant bare wool, everyone in his place. So everybody in their office, and everyone bear wool wherever he appointed them. Wherever he gave them, that's where they rule. And then in verse 9 it says, and after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So they crown themselves king, self-promoted kings. So did their sons after them many years, and evil were multiplied in the earth. So now those men, under those men, evil multiplied. And you under the Greeks, you do as you go, you do as you feel, as you please. Okay? And we're gonna see what sort of evil, that multiply under the rulership of those men. In verse 10 now. And there came out them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 130 and 7th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. You understand that part right there? Yeah? What do you understand here?
Okay. In a way, he's saying, let's put up with them
Mm-hmm.
until my power free. Let's put up with them for now till we get our thoughts together. So we know they wicked,
Uh-huh.
out of Israel wicked men.
Mm-hmm. Right. You on the right track.
And let's go make a covenant with them, agreement with them.
Mm-hmm.
And we will do as you say.
All right, so they wanted to pretty much go with the flow.
Right, okay.
That's like us, a lot of us in America right now, they said, man, if you can beat them, join them.
Right, true.
Right? So just, don't rock the boat. Just if you can beat them, just become part of the system. All right? And follow, when you in Rome, do as Rome do. Okay? So those are people who pretty much wanted to settle. They were a bunch of renegades. So pretty much they misled a bunch of our people, right? To follow, to follow them.
Right.
Because they said, since we stopped following these people, then we had a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble come upon us. So let's move on. Verse 12. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Okay? Some of our people, they see that the proposal that they made sounds good, right?
Right.
So they went eagerly to the king to get license, right, to do the ordinances of the people, of the heathen nation. Imagine that. So they wanted to observe the ordinances of the Gentiles.
Mm-hmm.
So the king authorized them to do as the Gentile do.
Yeah.
So why would they had to get permission from the king to do as the Gentile do?
I guess so they're going to get killed.
That may be part of it, because they said, since we departed from them, we have much trouble. But they just wanted to show that they down. Keep in mind, they Jews, right? We are Jews, right?
Right.
So to make sure that we seal it, we went and get licenses. For example, if you wanted to get a gym, you had to go get licenses, right? Right. So if and what was the custom of the Jews in the gym? Exercise in the nude, right? So that was their thing. So if we wanted to start a gym, we would just go and get a license from them. Yeah, from the Greeks. We would just go and get the license from the Greeks, so we can do just like them too, right? We open the gym and then we follow the same custom they follow. Right? Israelite Greeks fitness. Right? So this was because they said this device pleased them well. because they see an opportunity to capitalize. Right? They see an opportunity to capitalize. And again, if you want to have the Jews doing things that they would not have done, that would please the other people. So which means that they want in. Right? So our way of life is so good that these people, they want to be part of what we're doing, even though it's so wicked. Okay? So opportunists of our people. Okay? You always have that. Okay, so let's move on. In verse 14 now. Whereupon they built a place of exercise. Here you go. All right, so they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem. It's just like they went and go get a franchise, a Greek gymnasium. So since it was a Greek thing, right, to make sure that they did not get in trouble, they went and get a license to put that same gymnasium at Jerusalem, right? So back then, there wasn't so much suing, but they were killing you, right? Because they didn't have the patent office, established yet. But if they find out you're doing something outside of them, right?
Right.
They pretty much can take over, or they can, demand that you pay tribute. Okay? Because you're copying off our stuff without us giving you permission. So that's why they went and get licenses from them, so that they can build a gymnasium in Jerusalem. Okay? Verse 14, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the custom of the heathen. Okay? And they still do it today. Esau still do it today. Okay?
Yeah.
Verse 15, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were so to do mischief. So now they part of the in crowd. All right, we in now. We part of the system. So they start calling themselves, that's why we start calling themselves Grecians now. Now you have our people go to school, go to college. They have Greeks. They fraternize as Greeks. Still want to keep those same customs. Right? And they call themselves Alpha, Omega, whatever they like, I'm Greeks. I'm
That's
Goofy.
starting pledge.
Right.
I'm not stopping class. When I went to Cheney,
Mm-hmm.
I said no. My grandmother would tell those, don't you class to them, it's not your people. But in the Bible, in the back of Revelation, say the Alpha and Omega. We talk about that later.
Done. So they remove the mark of circumcision. What is the mark of circumcision?
Ain't that when they touch the skin off the thing?
No.
Damn.
That's not what it's talking about here. The marks of circumcision is circumcision of us bonding with the Most High spiritually in our heart, in our mind.
That's the circumcision.
Right. We bonded with the Most High by pledging to follow His law, statute, and commandments. We pledge that we're gonna follow the Most High statute and commandments based on the contract we have with the Most High.
Right.
So what we do is we broke that contract so we can follow heathen customs.
Okay.
We broke that covenant. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The cutting this foreskin is just a sign between us and the Most High. Ultimately, the real sign is the contract to follow the law, statute, and commandments of the Most High. Okay, so pretty much we broke that. So when we go and make league with those nations and start following after their ideologies now, we're not following the doctrine of the Most High. We're following after their doctrine. Okay, so we have become uncircumcised. Okay, moving along. Cut.
You know?
So you can link Deuteronomy 10 and 16 with verse 15.
Wait a minute, what is the Deuteronomy?
Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 16.
Deuteronomy.
Chapter 10 and verse 16. Links with verse 15.
Oh, right here, what's that to do? All right,
Deuteronomy 10 and 15.
16. Going to verse 15 right here. 1:15 is the first message.
10 and 16.
So Deuteronomy 10 and 16 it reads, circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart,
Mm-hmm.
and be no more stiff-necked.
Pardon the wrong.
Stiff-necked. I understand, not following the Most High, following somebody else.
All right, so we're gonna keep moving forward. Verse 16 now. Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, now Antiochus on the other hand, right, his kingdom is established, right? So now, when you have your kingdom established, what's next? What's next? You have one kingdom established. You know how the heathen think. They enlarge the borders of their kingdom, right? For example, if they have this country here, they want that over there. They want that over there. After they want that over there, they want that over here.
Bring up with
So now that explains why you have America have bases almost in every place
all over the world.
over the world. Same custom,
In the sea,
right? Same mindset from back then,
right there.
same right now. The spirit that was back then is the spirit that are in now, and you read that in Ecclesiastes. Okay, the same spirit that was back then is the same spirit that we have now, meaning they continue in the same track record. Okay, so that's how you know the Most High already create these people, and he knows them. He create them, so he knows his subject from back in and out. So don't we ever make the mistake think Esau is withholding stuff from us. Esau ain't withholding nothing, because the Most High have him the way he has him. Okay, so read on.
Verse
17 now. It says, let me finish verse 16. It says, now when the kingdom was established, but that's Antiochus, okay? Before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of 2 realms.
he went in Egypt too.
Right. Verse 17. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, invasion, occupation. Okay, they call that occupation today. Okay, it says, wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen, in a great navy. So why would he go over those countries? More resources.
So you want to move?
More resources, more money, more resources to take over. Why did America go to Iraq? Resources. But what did they tell the people?
A lot.
A lot. Because whose money they using to go conquer those people? The taxpayers' money.
Okay, I'm about to figure out.
So if they, in order for them to justify using the taxpayers' money, they have to lie to them, saying that this guy, he have weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill the people. But they will not blatantly tell you we're going after the resources.
Right.
Why? Because very few of them that's gonna benefit from the resources, not the masses. Right? If they say, okay, we're gonna go over there, get the oil, and the oil gonna benefit all of us and all of us, then that's a different story. Right? But if we're gonna go, but you have a group of people, we already have our companies established that's gonna profit off that resources. Now we gotta lie because we're gonna steal the resources to begin with. If we tell you, you know, we're going after the resources, you're gonna ask, you want a piece? Because you're using my money to go get the resources. I want a piece of it.
Yeah, I want some.
So there's not enough to go around to for everybody.
Till I lie.
So, you know, we want to capitalize off that resources and take it. Okay. So Antiochus, when he had his kingdom established, he's set now.
Mhm.
So now he said, you know what? Now let's try to conquer more.
Okay.
Okay. Same tactic used by Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
Oh, same thing.
It's about money.
Yeah.
It's about resources.
Came over here to take over.
Take
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Because it was a business deal. He signed a business deal with the queen,
With the queen.
right?
Ain't that something?
And he get 10% of any resources that he got.
That's all I gotta do.
That was the deal. Now he gets 10% of all
the
of
whole country.
right.
I killed
Whatever we go, whatever he found, he get 10% of it.
You got 10%.
Right.
Queen sold.
Right. So that was the agreement that they signed.
Okay.
Okay.
We
And what happened is you have the Catholic Church now
Yeah.
was the religion of
With
the
the money.
queen and the king of Spain. Everywhere they go, they establish the Catholic Church.
Okay.
Brought it back.
Set it up.
They set it up. All right, so they established the
Oh, the church
Catholic
did.
Church and give. So once we
church did.
establish, then we give them our God because you know that's our religion.
Right?
Okay, so when things broke off, then you know we can send the priests under the false pretense of preaching to the people, bring them to harmony, but really it's all business, it's all money, it's all
money.
you know extortion. Okay, using the you know the mind of the people who you know who like to go to church and you know believe in you know in God and mislead them.
Right.
Okay, let's go to verse 18 now. And made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt, and he took the spoil thereof. See, as we reading right here, we don't see Israel being mentioned, right?
No.
In this story, it's kingdom taking over, but where's Israel in all of this? It's the same way. Kingdom is fighting over Syria, fighting over North Korea, fighting in Iran, fighting in Iraq, but it's like you don't see Israel mentioned, but everything revolves around Israel, right? In this right here, you don't see Israel being mentioned in this scenario, but we always there.
Okay.
All right, we always there. It's the same scenario that's going on right now. It's like we become so disconnected, right? They so disconnected from what's going on right now to the point where we feel like we don't have anything. This is politics. We got nothing to do with it. But it's all revolving around Israel. It's the same. What does him conquer Egypt has to do with us? We're gonna find out. Okay. So parallel that with what's going on today. When you see things going in Syria, you see things going in Iran, right? But you don't see Jake being mentioned. Jake is right there in the corner, you know, getting some beer in the corner here and there. They're clueless of what's going on, but everything is going on around him just to come to a point. Okay. Verse 19 now. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt, and he took the spoils. Here you go. That was the whole point. He got the strong cities, the prosperous cities, right? The cities that have the money, the resources, because in Richmond Way is in a strong city, right? That's what the scripture says, right? A kingdom that is rich depends on a strong city.
Right.
Okay, so he got hold of the strong city. Okay, so now he took the spoils. The spoils are the resources.
Okay.
Okay. So if we understand this right here, we can understand Iraq. We can understand Syria, right? We can understand all the war that's going on over oil.
Right.
That's going on in Venezuela.
Right.
That's going on, fighting going in Colombia,
Right.
in Mexico, right? So we can understand all of this because even though we don't see how we are directly
Yeah.
involved, but we in it,
Yeah.
okay? Con, you in it. It says, and entered proudly into the sanctuary, verse 20. And after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt. He returned again in the 140 and 33rd year, and went up again against Israel in Jerusalem with a great multitude. Okay, and entered proudly into the sanctuary. So now that's where that's us right there. He returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel in Jerusalem with great multitude.
Right.
So after that's all said and done, we got all the resources. So now, even though those Jews, right, they don't have the resources like that, but we got to take over this.
Right.
Right. We got to take over their mind. That religion thing that they following, that Jew stuff, that Jew custom. So now we got to make sure they stop that, because there's only one power here. It's Antiochus.
Okay.
And you got to follow what we follow. You got to pray as we pray. You got to eat what we eat. All right. So that's going to be the rule. So he entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar. Golden altar. Resources again, gold. Okay. And the candlestick of light and all the vessels thereof. And the table of the shewbread and the pouring vessels and the vials and the censers of gold and the veil and the crowns and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. He took also the silver and the gold and the precious vessels. Also, he took the hidden treasures which he found. So pretty much whatever is of value, he took. Okay, whatever's of value, he took.
Okay.
All right, stealing, everything that we have, he tried to take away.
Mm-hmm.
1 verse 24.
So now that's where our persecution started. So they always have to find somebody to bother, right? Whenever they finish, with one, they go out there in the street. Now they say, okay, now it's time to start giving out some tickets. Iraq is not enough. Let's go give tickets. All these people right here, let's put meters. Let's put meters right here. Every time those Negroes park there, we're gonna give them tickets. Okay. And you got to see that in our neighborhood. In our neighborhood, we are cash cow. They always somebody call them up to install those meters, parking meters in our neighborhood.
Right.
Okay.
And you see it more too. You can be parked in front of your house, don't have a ticket that's had that you had for a minute, and you got yellow boots, put them on your tire.
Yeah.
You can't leave until you pay a ticket.
Yeah. There's
Y'all do like that?
yep. There's this guy.
The same.
There's this.
You ever see like that? They all started there.
There's this guy that gave me a ticket last week, right?
Yeah.
I think he targeted me because my car is the only car that I get the ticket. And plenty of time he tried to get me a ticket, but he never got me. I always, tell him, yeah, that's my car. So he gave me a ticket, right?
This time.
Was it 2 hour limit or?
No, it was in inspection. That's a legitimate ticket. That's not a problem. That's fine.
Okay.
So
I didn't know they could do that. They could just-
I put the ticket on the visor, right?
Right.
Because I didn't have time to schedule to go get the inspection. He knows that's my car and he saw it. He gave me a ticket for the same thing again.
Hmm.
Next time I saw him, I said, you know, you're evil, man. Edomite. I said, you're very evil. I said, I put the ticket there, thinking that you a person, you might see that you give me a ticket for that already. Maybe he don't have time. Maybe you might reason to maybe you don't have time. That's why you put the ticket there so that I can see, so he can, you know. I said, you still give me another ticket for the same thing.
Hmm.
I said, that's how evil, you are. I said, on a human to human basis, but you should have, at least think about it. And then I just walk away.
Okay.
He said, I can give you a ticket after every 3 days. I can give you a ticket.
Give me a ticket.
I said, I understand that, but do you have to do it?
Hmm.
I said, do you really have to do it? And then I just walk away.
Okay.
You know. But just to show you, they don't care.
Right.
They don't care.
It was the
It's
money.
just the money. You got to get the money by any means necessary. All right.
Okay. Sure don't prove that by any means necessary.
Yep.
Not to make a big thing of it, but service. Like you said, man, it's messed up because people only make it so much. You stacking tickets on top of tickets, fines on top of fines. Now you're getting in the way of how they get to work. Now they can't get to work to get the money to pay for the ticket.
Right.
They screwed even more. Now you're like stuck.
Yes,
And
right.
then sometimes, depending on the ticket, you got to make a court date.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
now you got to figure out how to get to the court because you can't drive the car to get there because the car can't even drive the car.
Right.
So they got to reach out to family and friends to see when they're off. They have to work too. See,
Okay.
they can take you to the court.
Right. So in the system, and another token in the system, when you make mistake, you pay for it in cash. That's one thing that's in this system. That's how when we make a mistake, we pay for it in cash. So the key is try to make less mistake as possible because
Right.
they're gonna screw you.
Oh,
Gone.
Who? Verse 23. This is Habakkuk. Habakkuk chapter 2.
Is that the vision? Supposed to write that vision? Habakkuk?
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5 and verse 6.
5 verse 6.
Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5, it says, yet also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay.
Gone. So we see the same scenario being played out here in Antiochus, and same scenario being played over and over, even in the system. So let's go back to First Maccabees. Now we at verse 21 now. Actually, verse 23. Or which he found. 24. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land. So that's where now we are being persecuted directly. Right? We are being persecuted directly. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly. So he made a massacre and spoke very proudly right after. So he made a point, and he spoke very proudly. So he spoke with great arrogance. So Israel, let's see what happened to Israel after that. Verse 25, therefore there was great mourning in Israel, in every place where they were, so that the princes and elders mourned, the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed. Every bridegroom took up lamentation, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. That was before we have human rights, right, being established. Esau just go in and do whatever he wants, kill, murdered.
Great.
Before we had United Nations, right? That makes things a little bit more technical for them to just go and kill. Now they gotta come up with all sorts of lies to go kill, right? But before they just do it openly, with no questions asked. And right now, they make our own people. The trick now is to make our own people do it to ourselves. Okay, so it's much better now. They don't have to get their hand dirty. Get a few of our people and use them, and then put them in the condition, right, where they kill each other. Okay, so we allow that to happen. All right, we tricked into doing this, all because we broke the laws of the Most High. Now we become like puppets. Our mind is messed up to the point where we become puppets, right? We can be pulled from every angle. Why? Because we don't have our wits with us anymore. Okay, so that's how Esau gets us, because we messed up in the head, and your head, my head, your head, and all of us head is messed up, so we get tricked easily. But if we in the Most High, we strong, we cannot be pulled easily like that. And if we, at some point we get weak, but the Most High will look upon us with grace and will send angels to help us in situation that is too tough for us, right? But majority of us today, now we pretty much, like zombies with our head, walking down. Yep. Pretty much. So let's move on. The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. Jacob was covered with confusion. It says 29, and after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collectors of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude. So now, on top of that, tax collectors. You gotta pay your taxes. Right? Burden, more burden. Gun. And spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore, and destroyed much of Israel. So that's what happened to us at this point. They came in, tell us some good word. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. And then we cry, and then we go vote. Yes, we can. In this nation, we can do it. put me there. You my people, right? You all black. So there was a big, big deceit. Take a so-called Israelite black man and put him there as a trick, because knowing that we got weakness for people who look like us. As soon as we see somebody that look like us, man, even Patak thought Obama was our people. Right, Patak?
That's why I voted for him the first time.
Right, Patak? Even Patak thought that Obama was our people, right?
Yeah, I voted for him.
Right, because I saw you with some shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had some shirt on.
One time, yeah.
Yeah. You thought it was our people. Why? Because he shared the same color skin, and he talked good. He got some good. He got a gift of gab, right?
Yeah, you got that.
He got a gift of gab, so he tricked you.
You know what he did at the White House? You know the rainbow flag for the gay people?
Yeah.
He had them to do that to the White House.
Right. So what he does, he invite the
Gay
rappers that we like, the Usher,
Okay.
in the White House, to a party. Everybody said, man, that's the coolest president I've ever seen. Yo, you invite us to the White House, yo.
Yeah. Cool.
Our people are so simple-minded.
Yet not one law allocated any resources to our people
to help us.
That was a trick.
You got
They broke laws for homosexuals.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So when he sent his chief collectors to collect taxes, right, tribute, and came to Jerusalem with large forces, right? So they came to Jerusalem with large forces, right, and they came with deceitful, words, and the people got tricked. We easily the same tactic that they use on the natives, the northern tribe. They came in, said Christopher Columbus came in. He said, "Nah, don't worry, man. We got this. We're gonna share this. You're gonna share that." And they came in, and he himself say, "Man, if you see these people," when he sent his first message back to the queen, he said, "Man, if you see these people, they have no guile. Those people, they have no guile in their mind. Meaning they receive you, and they have no trickery." Right? He says it's something that you got to see, these people. But they came in and lied to them and then slaughtered them. Right? That's Esau for you. And that's what he's there for. I mean, we can't complain. That's what he's there for. Right? Let's move on. Come. Verse 32 now. But the women and children took they captive and possessed the cattle. Then builded they the city of David with great and strong wall, and with mighty towers. They made it a stronghold for them. And they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortify themselves therein. They store it also with armor and victuals. And when they had gathered together the spoil of Jerusalem, they laid them up. They laid them up there. And so they became a sore snare. For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, and an evil adversary to Israel. All right. So they set ambush. Right. They set traps. So anybody that you don't come correct, they'll get you right there in there. They put strong walls. They make sure they put food in there for themselves. They fortify it, and they pretty much on every side of the sanctuary they shed innocent blood. Just imagine that. That was, high time, criminality. So they defile the sanctuary because once they there, they do whatever they can, and they wicked, so they do contrary to our laws. But there's only so much you can do to people, then they're gonna rebel. You can try to mess with the coolest person, the person that never bother anybody. There's a limit. Once you reach that limit, that's it, man. That person gonna, just gonna backfire. It's gonna backfire. But the most peaceful nation or the most peaceful people, right? The minute that you push them too much, you're gonna get a reaction, and you must get a reaction. All right. So let's the sinful men that they put there, they were Israelites. Sinful men. Whenever they for men there, it's because what make us righteous? Keeping the law. What make people break the law? So they put sinful men there of our nation. All right. They're already simply doing wicked stuff over there, and now doing all they should be doing the sin is not because to begin with. So they should by using those men. When you enter into a man's country, you don't know every places. You're gonna need people of your nation to side with you, right? To show you certain things there. Of course, you're gonna find people who glad you there because they can get perks. Okay. So in any invasion that any forces do, they have a group of people in your nation that they work with. Right? They work it because they don't know every corners. They don't know every places that they should be. They find those people who are willing, right? Who are willing to work with them, and then they employ them. All right, so verse 35 now. 36. For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, and an evil adversary to Israel. So now the temple becomes the sanctuary become a trap now. And you're gonna catch a lot of people into that trap because Israel, that's where Israel go to worship. So any Israelite that try to go there, that's it. You trap. So instead of a place of worship, now it's become a place of you get trapped there and you get killed. And once that's done, your mind is not on the temple anymore. So you start to become disassociate yourself with the Most High. Because the temple was a place where we go for pretty much all the feast days to hear the word. Keep in mind, the way we have Bibles today, we did not have it back then, right? We had the scrolls in the church where you go and the priest read it out to you, right? And then you get the teachings. So that's why it was meant, it propel you to go to the temple to get the lessons, because that's where you're gonna go. That's where the priest's gonna go and break down the scriptures, right? So it's not like today you can go to Barnes and Nobles and grab a Bible. You can go to any place, you grab a Bible, right? It was not like that then. Okay, we did not have the publishers, rampant just like we have it today. Right? We didn't have a lot of publishers, printing out a lot of Bibles. Okay, we had the scrolls right there in the temple, and that's where we go. Right. So every time you pass by that temple now become a trap. So you stay away from the temple. So that's how you become, start to fall away and not following the scripture anymore. And they scare you, right, to not follow the Most High. And after a while, some people, they just gonna be like, you know what? That's it, man. There's nothing we can do. So we might as well just, just join them because, it's survival, right? Right. So, and it would be a good strategy to set our people there around the temple, because if you see the enemy there, you run. You already know it's the enemy. But set up your own people that look like you, right? And look like you're gonna go to the temple, and those are the people that's gonna, ambush you. Right? It's just, it's easy to escape when you see, it's easy. If you're gonna do something, you see Esau there, you can quickly run away. All right, verse 38 now. And so much that the inhabitant of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made an habitation of strangers, and became strange to those that were born in her, and her own children left her. So when you have your own people start leaving, where you're born, you become, your own house become a prison. Right? Your own place of worship become a prison. In verse 39 now, her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned into mourning, her Sabbath into reproach, her honor into contempt, as had been her glory. So was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. Here you go, one world government. All should be one people. And this was the objective. The objective is to scare the Israelite to not keep the laws of the Most High, to not follow in our customs, to keep the customs of the heathen, so that they can have us doing everything that they are doing. So that was the main goal of doing everything that they were doing, right? To pretty much deter us from keeping the laws of the Most High. Scare tactic. So it pretty much completely abolished our way of worshiping the Most High. So when it comes to the Sabbath, no more. When it comes to observing the feast, the festival, no more. Because we had to go to the temple. But now the temple become a trap. People who were born in the city fled the city. Okay? And then they put idols in the temple. All right? Now, verse 42 now, it says, and everyone should leave his laws, so all the heathen agreed according to the commandments of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the city of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offering and sacrifice and drink offering in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbath and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars in groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their soul abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, for to the end they might forget the law. Right? That was why they were doing this, so that we can forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandments of the king, he said he should die. So now you know how they trying to convince us, since they cannot come kill us directly, they kill us through social media, through all the devices that they come up with. Right? Get your mind totally out there somewhere wondering, you know, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, you know, YouTube, right? Preoccupy your mind with vain things. Some of us use it to benefit us, which is the flip side of it, right? You can use it to benefit you. But the majority of our people, they pretty much addicted to that stuff. To the point where in China, they even call it a disease. They diagnose that as a disease, the social media disease. And it is a disease. And whatchamacallit said it one time. One of their own people said, one day, these people will be just like we see it today, like zombies. People won't even care anymore. You have a group of people, nobody talk to each other anymore. Everybody's preoccupied on the phone like this. They laughing to themselves, laughing to pictures, to images. You know, it's like it's some real thing. So that's how it is today.
Yeah, they say even like in person, people talking face to face. They literally talk tweets.
Yeah.
They speak the same way they do on the social media.
Right.
Like entire conversation. You go like to a coffee shop or somewhere, social setting, like you have a real conversation.
Done.
Tech got them talking a totally different way.
Say that again, sister?
Now I said on our social media, people talk the same way that they tweet. So actually, actual conversations in social settings, talking the same way they do on the Twitter.
Right. So this is the world that we live in today. They don't have to kill us physically, but kill the brain. Back then, they do it by force. They start implementing force, and then they scare some people away. But they didn't have social media back then, so they had to do something. Right? So every generation have different tactics. Esau has implemented different tactics for each generation. And that is not that social media is bad. It's bad when it's not being used for a purpose of enlightenment, growth. It is bad if it's not being used for that. All right, so now verse 53 now. Fun.
Just for what you're talking about, as far as the social media communications, Daniel chapter 12 and verse 4. Daniel chapter 12 and verse 4. And it reads, "But thou, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." Prophesying the industrial age and the information age, which is the social media, part of the time we're in now.
Done. Verse 50 again, it says, "And whosoever would not do according to the commandments of the king, he said he should die. In the self same manner wrote he to his whole kingdom and appointed overseers over all people, commending the city of Judah to sacrifice city by city. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, everyone that forsook the law, and so they committed evil in the land, and drove the Israelite into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor. Now the 50th day of the month Caslu, and 140 and 50 year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar, and built idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side, and burnt incense at the door of their houses in the street. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire. And wheresoever was found with any the book of the testament, or if any consented to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. Thus did they by their authority unto the Israelites every month, so as many as were found in the cities. Now the 25th day of the month they did sacrifice upon the altar, upon the idol altar, which altar of the Most High. At which time, according to the commandments, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised, and they hanged the infants about their necks, and raffled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them. Albeit many in Israel were fully resolved in confirming themselves not to eat any unclean thing. Wherefore they chose rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meat, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died. And there was very great wrath upon Israel. Great wrath upon Israel. Yeah. That's what the kingdom does to us, man. You work all day, you're tired, man. You're tired. When it comes time to do, service and everything, you got no more juice left in you. all that is devices. I mean, that's understandable. You work all day to pay the bills.
Right.
Come time for due to the service, you ain't got time. I mean, not that you don't have time. It's just like you there, but that's the device. That's all that is part of it.
Son, what you're playing is prophecy. Daniel chapter 7, 24 and 25.
Daniel chapter 7.
24 and 25. It reads, "And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise," talking about the EU. "And others shall rise after them," America, "shall be diverse from the first, and shall subdue 3 kings," England, France, and Spain, right? Revolutionary War. Here's verse 25. It says, "And he shall speak great words against the Most High." So they, like you said, pushing their own doctrine, their own custom. Here's the part, what you just said. "And shall wear out the saints of the Most High." Worn out.
Right. So if you're not dedicated, if you're not willing to dedicate yourself after work, man, you just go home, man. You just go home and get some rest. Because You don't have any more energy left. But that's this kingdom. You gotta be like, cognizant of what's going on. Sometimes you make the sacrifice. You say, you know what, I'm tired, but I'm gonna try my best to be there. So that shows dedication. Yeah. Go on.
And think they change times and laws, like you were saying earlier, Khan. We know about Christmas. What's Hanukkah? We know about their stuff.
Mhm.
Oh, what's today? The day begins when the sun goes down? I thought the day begins at midnight. Think they change times and laws.
Mhm.
Same thing with the customs again. And they shall be given into his hand until time and time is dividing of time, talking about our time here in captivity.
Go on. So when we when we see these things happening, that's pretty much what's going on here. All right, that's pretty much what's going on. So we gotta find ways to make this work for us in this kingdom. All right, so we have a couple chapters to go through, but I don't think I should be going through those chapters. At least not tonight. We're gonna, end it there. Hopefully, those of you who did not know what the dedication is about, that now you know what it's about, right?
Right.
And next, when we have the closing, we're gonna go to more scriptures and see what Mattathias' sons, what Mattathias started doing, and then his sons took over,
Right.
and stood up for Israel.
Okay.
They stood up for Israel and say, you know what? We got nothing to lose now.
Mhm.
We done lose everything, so we might as well just
Very good.
let it be and fight for what we believe in. So at that point right now, you got to fight for what you believe in. When everything you have gone, resources, money gone, all you got left is your belief. So your faith and your belief, and you got to defend that. So those men, they decide that's what they were going to do. All right? And then they stood up and they fought, and that's how we got this day. After everything that happened to the altar of burnt offering and at the temple, we had to clean it and rededicate it on that day. All right? So with that, we're going to say stay tuned for the closing prayer for those watching on the live stream. And then we're going to pray. And, right, we're going to have a feast. We're going to eat. Enjoy this time, right? Like they say, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So that's why the Most High always make sure at the feast we have food. Because after you finish reading the Bible, you get the word, then you gotta feed the physical.
Okay.
Right? And it seems like when we feeding the physical, we seem more alive, because it's the physical. Everybody eating, everybody, all the sleep gone.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
Yeah, all of a sudden the sleep is gone. So that's proof that the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. But you give it food, it's alive. Give him some music, start dancing.
Yeah.
That's why you have the club. People could be tired as you don't know what.
Right.
They still go to the club.
Right.
And they wide awake on the dance floor. And then drink and everything, and then they go to sleep. Even though they dead tired, their friend call them, yo, yeah, come scoop me. They tired. But once they get on the music line, they awake again. You know, it's the physical.
Energized. Huh?
You energize again. Because the physic, you know, we in the physical. You got to understand, you got to take that into consideration. Okay? Because the only reason why we know that we here is because we here physically. Right? The Most High said we must appear. Right? So appear, not just appear in spirit, you got to appear physically. So the physical is important too.
Right.
Okay? You got to take care of that.
And take care.
Right. So everything must be balanced. All right. So that's why the Most High made sure that he feed the people. He said, if I send them away, you know, without feeding them, they might faint away. So he took care of the physical as well.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So we're gonna do the prayer, and then we're gonna continue feasting.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Because I'm sure by now most of us know what the Feast of Dedication is about, right? And we get it, and we're gonna continue on the next. And it's a whole all week, 8 days. Okay, stay in that spirit. And when we at work, even if we at work, of course the people in the Christmas spirit, but you know what spirit you should be on.
Right.
The spirit of rededication.
Rededication.
And not get caught up in Hanukkah, which is what the Jewish people celebrate with the 9 candles.
Yeah.
Okay? Because there's no such thing in the scriptures.
Right.
All right, when we see that, that should remind us of our feast.
Oh, our feast.
Right? That they doing their stuff their way, but we know it's our stuff.
Right.
Nabia?
If you want to do a 2 Maccabees 10, 1 to 8.
2 Maccabees.
Chapter 10.
Second Maccabees.
Chapter 10, verses 1 to 8. Like a quick hit.
All right, so let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that and you know, let's end it, but you know, get that little bit of energy. All right, at least for that 8 verses. Second Maccabees chapter 8.
Trying to stay up with your house, you can't do it.
10.
10.
10. Chapter 10, verse 1.
You bear with me, just, well, disciples are like, okay, I'll
Chapter 10, verse 1. You got it?
I'll read it.
Come on.
2 Maccabees chapter 10, verse 1. Now Maccabeus and his company, the Lord guiding them, recovered the temple and the city. But the altars which the heathen had built in the open street, and also the chapels, they pulled down. And having cleansed the temple, they made another altar. And striking stones, they took fire out of them, and offered a sacrifice after 2 years, and set forth incense and lights and showbread. Verse 4. When that was done, they fell flat down and besought Yahweh that they might come no more into such troubles. But if they sinned any more against him, that he himself would chasten them with mercy, and that they might not be delivered into the blasphemous and barbarous nations. Always, that's the same thing with, I think it was with David, or when he was given an option of how he wanted to be punished.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to fall into the hands of the Most High as opposed to the nations, because the nations don't have any mercy.
Okay.
Right? They'll mistreat you and misuse you and do everything else, but the Most High take it to a certain limit.
Okay.
Like a father does his child.
Mhm.
It's like, I'm going to chasten you, but, it's still my child. I'm not going to go way over. That's what the nations do. So verse 5, it says, now upon the same day that the strangers profaned the temple, on the very same day it was cleansed again. Irony. Even the 25th day of the same month, which is called Kislev. Sometimes you'll see Kislev. All right. Kislev too, yeah. Kislev, right. This goes into Yahukanan's text message about the months, right? The various names for the months that we have in the scriptures, right? It says in verse 6, it says, and they kept 8 days with gladness, as in the feast of the tabernacles, remembering not long afore that they had held the feast of the tabernacles, when as they wandered in the mountains and dens like beasts, right? So that's why we keep the feast of the rededication of the altar in the same manner, like how we kept the feast of the tabernacles. So we do the palms and the branches, the same thing, and we keep it for a space of 8 days. So all the same sacrifices that was done for the tabernacle was also done for the feast of dedication. Right. Then it says, remembering that not long before they had held the feast of tabernacles, when as they wandered in mountains and dens like beasts. Right. Remember before, when the Greeks came in, you had Mattathias and the rest of the family in them. They didn't stay in the land. They went up into the mountains to keep the Most High's laws and stuff there, because everything was now being defiled and contaminated within the city. So he's like, we're not going to stay here, everything going like this, we're going to go up there.
Right.
But now when you're in the mountains, it's like, it's like camping. You now camping up in the forest and stuff. So it's probably sometimes for some it's out of your element. So now they wandering around trying to find the right place to pitch, where to go, wandering around about the animals coming, all that. But they still kept the tabernacle. Right.
Right, and also notice that we keep the same pattern, like we did in the wilderness.
Yeah.
But this is not mentioned in the Old Testament.
Right.
Because it happened after.
Right. Right. So even when you for this holy day, if you want to understand the sacrifices, all you do is go back in the numbers and you look at what we did for the tabernacles, and all that applies to this.
Okay.
So much so that in the next verse, it says, verse 7, therefore they bear branches and fair boughs and palms also. Right? So that's what you read in Leviticus 23. That's what we did for the tabernacles. That was the ordinance, to go out there and get your thick boughs and everything else and put them over your tents. Right? So that's what we did during the feast of the rededication of the altar back then at that time. It says, and sang psalms unto him that had given them good success in cleansing his place. Right? So I think a few weeks back, we was talking about how important temple was to us, and how that was like our main conduit, our main point of reference between us and the Most High. But later on, that would transition into us, our actual bodies being a representation of the Most High's goodness in us, without having to go out and get animal sacrifice. We do sacrifice amongst ourselves, or within ourselves. Verse 8, last verse, it says, they ordained also by a common statute and decree that every year those days should be kept of the whole nation of the Jews. Right? So then that became now the new memorial. Right? So now the Jews, the Levites, specifically, they now made this ordinance of a new holy day to be kept annually every year, which we keep right now. And then when you fast forward, right? Fast forwarding from this time, when you get into the New Testament, that's when you see Yahushua going to keep the rededication of the altar, showing you that this was now put in place, because Israel in the future kept it. Right? Under the Romans, they were still keeping this holy day. Right? But this is the history of why we're keeping it.
And you can read that in John 10:22, where Yahushua went and keep the feast, showing relevancy to us keeping the feast.
Who that was Maccabees? What?
Maccabees, we just read Maccabees, 2nd Maccabees 10:1-8. And I walked in, like Kahan mentioned, as far as for the 9 candlesticks, that history, or that, I don't even call it, let me rephrase that. That
It's a
fable.
yeah. It's in the Talmud.
Yeah.
Not in our. Not
It's
in
in the
our.
Talmud. I think they say it's in the Josephus, and other reference books, right? So even though you have other books, those books cannot be considered sacred, as if it's the word of the Most High.
Right.
So you know how sometimes you'll have certain people who are use even the Josephus as a point of reference to corroborate certain things that's in the Bible.
Right.
Right? That's all well and good. Right? But now if we didn't use that or didn't have that at all, it still wouldn't invalidate what the scriptures say. It is what it is, because this is the history and the word of the Most High.
Right.
Right? Now you may get a newspaper and they may bring out and say, yeah, here's the fulfillment of a prophecy that's written in Jeremiah.
Uh-huh.
Good, right? That we can use that as a point of reference if it coincides with this. Or you have somebody who just gives their own testimony. Like, yo, I was there, I seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now you have a living testimony to validate what the scripture said.
Okay.
But let's just say you didn't have that. Most High's word doesn't go out of word. Most High still gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Right.
Or he said it happened. It happened. Right? Who was man to come and say, nah, man, Noah's ark never happened. That and the flood never happened,
Mm-hmm.
because they may not have something tangible that they can go if they don't believe in the ark being on Ararat or whatever.
Right.
The car, you had a question?
No, early in class, when it's just us three, we were talking about all the books, except 2 or 3 Bible and the focus Bible.
Mhm.
How people, like you just said,
Yeah.
come up with they want to come up with.
Right.
And before he gave me some information, and before him and Dr. Watt over there, I said, all right, y'all got me there. And that's true, like you just said.
Right.
People come up with anything.
Right.
Poison my mind. Fool me. Santa Claus.
Yeah, I think that was it on that.
Gun.
That's what we talk about.
All right. So there's no 9 candlestick, and burning oil was supposed to last 2 days, and now it will last for 9 days. So it was a miracle that just happened. Those are feebles. It's nothing to do with our feast. You know. Esau always want to put his own spin or his own creativity on the most of that stuff. All right. So we good to go now?
Good to go.
Good to go. So we're gonna do the closing prayer, and then we're gonna feast for 8 days, and then we can cook because it's the Sabbath.
Seven, right.
All right. So anything pertaining to the feast that you wanna cook, you wanna bring, you can definitely cook. All right. And also next Thursday is gonna be the new moon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. So stay tuned for the closing prayer, and we're gonna have the Sabbath also in the morning.
Right. This is the last you said, John what?
John 10:22. English translation. Blessed are you, Shai, that give to us the fruit of the vine.
Thank you so. I madwa upon you, are you watching them? Same face, Jerusalem. Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'asham,
Ba'asham,
Yahushai,
Yahushua,
Babakushai,
Babakushah,
Shalman,
Shammai,
Nawa,
Lanao,
Aitha,
Aitha,
Yum Yun,
Yam,
Aitha,
Aitha,
Shalak,
Salat,
Micah Allah,
Micah,
Walalahaim,
Walahai,
Atazwadakim,
Tazadaki,
Shemaiah,
Shemaiah,
Barak,
Barak,
Wabah,
Rapah,
Magun,
Magan,
Wakaziyak,
Wakaziyah,
Bunya,
Banya,
Yasha Allah,
Yasha'al,
Wasalak,
Washalat,
Nawa,
Lanao,
Rabiam,
Rabi,
Kakama,
Kakama,
Rabiam,
Rabi,
Da'if,
Da'ai,
Rabiam,
Rabi,
Bayana,
Bayana,
Rabiam,
Rabi,
Tabalanwa,
Sabalanwa,
Rabiam,
Rabi,
I'm a one,
I'm a one,
Rabiam,
Rabi,
Aqua,
Aqua,
Rabiam,
Rabi,
Ahabiam,
Ahabi,
Rabiam,
Rabi,
Rakanat,
Rakanai,
I'm sorry, Haganah,
Haganah,
Rakanaya,
Rakanai,
Wasalat,
Wasalat,
Kal,
Ko,
Katayim Nawa,
Katayimna,
La'akim,
La'aki,
Wayasha Allah,
Wayasha'al,
Damyat,
Tamyat,
Waiwulam,
Waiwulam,
Ba'asham,
Ba'asham,
Yahausha,
Yahusha,
the water,
Tawada,
Aman.
Aman,
English translation. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, please listen to us now, right now. Send Michael and the righteous angels and powers to watch over, bless, heal, protect, and make strong the children of Israel, and send to us much wisdom, much knowledge, much understanding, much patience, much faith, much brotherhood, much love, much spiritual protection, and forgive us all our sins for the brothers and sisters in Israel, always and forever, in the name of Yahushua. Thank you, so be it. The four corners prayer. Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'asham,
Ba'asham,
Yahushai,
Yahusha,
Barak Nawa,
Barak Now,
Wayasha Allah,
Wayasha'al,
Wabafi Saparium,
Wababa Yasapari,
Shaman,
Shammai,
Yashir Allah,
Yashirah,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Allah Hainawa,
Elohim,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Achad.
Echad,
Right, blessings of the food. Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Agadol,
Agadol,
Ba'asham,
Ba'asham,
Adawanya,
Adawanya,
Yahushai,
Yahusha,
Babakushai,
Babakusha,
Barak,
Barak,
Ma'ako,
Ma'ako,
Yanawa,
Yanawa,
Shatai,
Shaddai,
Shatai Yaf Yanawa,
Shaddai, Yanawa,
Yayan,
Yayam,
Yanawa,
Yanawa,
Lacham
Lakam,
Yanawa,
Yanawa,
Shaka
Shakar,
Yanawa,
Rayanawa,
Zakag,
Zakar,
Shal,
Shal,
Ha,
Ha,
Yorak,
Yorak,
Akag,
Akkad,
Akag Kanaka,
Akkad, Kanaka,
Bahasham,
Ba'asham,
Yahushai,
Yahusha,
Tawada,
Tawada,
Aman.
Aman.
All right. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Asha Kanaka. And Asha Shabbat.
Shalom.
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 Shalom. Men, circle up. Sister, please be seated.